Ikaw Og Ang Balaod.
Maayong hapon mga suking tagpaminaw sa kahanginan matag Domingo sa alas 4 sa hapon. Ako inyong abogadong higala, si Attorney Georgia Herrera Clep, ang inyong amiga nga mupasabot kaninyo sa mga pangutanang legal o mga isyu sa balaod nga dapat natong tuki-tukion para maklaro o masayod kita kung nakalapas bata o natakkom ba nato atong mga katungod. Binilang sa atong programang Ikaw Og Ang Balaod, usa ka panag-uban sa DYSS Super Radyo og IBP Cebu City Chapter. Karong hapuna maghisgot kita og issue nga mahitungod sa bag-o ni siya na law, and we call this RA 11210, or otherwise known as the maternity leave, an act increasing the maternity leave period to 105 days for female workers with an option to extend for an additional 30 days without pay, and granting an additional 15 days for solo mothers and for other purposes. So, good afternoon everyone. Again, kanina topic is very important, and I'm very passionate about it. Kay kabalo mo nga no, ako usa ko kainahan, ako'y tulo ka anak. So that's why it's very important, and through my 3 pregnancies, wala pa man ko naka-avail ani, because this is a fairly new law which was just signed into a bill and published in the publicly recently lang yun ni mga April pa lang yun ni siya, March. So I was not able to avail of this, and the old one was very kanang, for me, dili enough, because I think at that katong old na law, you were only allowed 60 or 78 days maternity leave. So kita mga inahan kabaluta na kana actually dili gyud sufficient for us to establish a connection with our newborn child, to establish a routine, especially sa katong naga-breastfeed na mga mothers, kay we all know that it takes time for us na maka-establish og milk supply, especially sa katong nagatrabaho on a 9-to-5 job. Kasabot gyud taon sa kalisod na sa mga inahan. So when this law was enacted, I was very happy to hear about it, and that's why it's a good thing to discuss about it, so that the mothers kita, especially the working moms, will understand unsa ato ang mga benefits that we can get from this new law. But before we start, let us ato sang balikan unsay declaration of policy of this new law. So the declaration of policy of this law says that it is to protect and promote the rights and welfare of working women, taking into account their maternal functions, and to provide an enabling environment in which their full potential can be achieved. So to achieve this, the state shall institutionalize a mechanism to expand the maternity leave period of women workers. This will provide them with ample transition to regain health and overall wellness, as well as to assume maternal roles before resuming paid work. So as I have discussed earlier, actually, this is the state ni recognized how important the role sa mga inahan in the upbringing sa mga bata, but they also the state nakasabot sad na other than the mother having a very important role in the upbringing of the child, nakasabot sad siya na ang kita mga inahan kinahanglan sad gyud ta og what we call a overall wellness. Dili lalim mga anak CS man or normal or having a miscarriage, dili lalim. Imagine the miracle that the woman carries in carrying a child and then giving birth to it. Diba? So ang body, ang kaburden, ang kasakit sa lawas is also very kalisod. So now going on to the law, pasindag ang kadaghan sa inyong ni wonder, who are those covered under this law? Kinsa man ang maka-avail aning RA 11210, or the maternity leave, the extended maternity leave. Okay. The IRR is very specific that kani mga babae na maka-avail ani are those female workers in the public sector. Number 2, female workers in the private sector. Number 3, female workers in the informal economy. 4, female workers who are voluntary contributors to the SSS, and female national athletes. So what do you mean by employment in the public sector? Pasabot ani kaning nagtrabaho sa mga gobyerno, whether it may be permanent, temporary, coterminous, fixed term, casual, contractual, substitute or provisional. And who are these female workers in the private sectors? Well, those who are working in kanang private companies, diba? So whether you are a regular worker, you're under probationary, casual, project, or seasonal, you're considered as to have belonged to the female workers in the private sector. Now, what do we mean by unsay pasabot nato aning female workers the informal economy? Mo ni siya katong mga self-employed, occasionally mahire ta dili, subcontracted, paid, and unpaid family workers in household, whether incorporated or not incorporated. Mo na siya ang pasabot. So ang kaupat usa may pasabot aning female workers who are voluntary contributors to the SSS. It's very klaro kayo kung nag-voluntary nagsigi ka og kanang bayad og kanang SSS na contribute, then you are covered. Like for example, na may daghan din na mga practicing lawyers na voluntarily nilang nibayad kag SSS, so you'll be covered by SSS. You can avail of the maternity leave also. And then finally, ang ikalima na covered pud ani is the female national athletes. So in other words, I think everybody is covered by this RA 11210 as long as you have contributed more or less to the SSS, whether you belong in the public, private sector, or you are in an informal economy, which katong mga nagtrabaho ka na dili in the government or private sectors, or katong you are voluntarily paying. So you are covered by that. Now, the most important thing I'm sure you're wondering o kung kani is that kinsa man ang unsa may mga benefits na makuha aning RA 11210. Okay, the law says that the following benefits are granted under the 105-day extended maternity leave. So first, there's a paid leave benefit granted to a qualified worker in the public sector for the duration of 105 days for live childbirth, regardless of the delivery. So, kung ga-work ka sa public sector, you have a 105 days for maternity leave, regardless kung giunsa nimo pag-deliver ang bata, whether it's by cesarean or by natural birth. And napakay additional 15 days paid leave if the female worker qualifies as a solo parent. So, what is a solo parent? Those who are not yet married na nanganak ka, but you work in the public sector, you are also granted another 15 days paid leave. And then there is also a 60 days paid leave for miscarriage and emergency termination of pregnancy. Unfortunately, there are some instances na dili madayon atong pagkabuntis kay makuhaan ta, or na mga emergency na that is a risk to the life of the mother. So you are given also 60 days maternity paid leave. Number 2, paid leave benefit granted to a qualified female worker in the private sector. Unsa man siya, covered by the SSS, including those in the informal economy, for the duration of the same gihapon, 105 days for live childbirth, an additional 15 days paid leave if the female worker mo qualify ka as a solo, the same as the public those who are workers in the public sector. And then same also if for instances of miscarriage or emergency termination of pregnancy, you are also given a 60-day paid leave. So ang mga employed workers will receive a full pay. That means makadawat ta sa atuang kung sa timuhang salary na dawat, maupwi imong madawat. So that will consist of the SSS maternity benefit computed based on their average daily salary credit. Okay, kaning computation, I'm not very familiar with the computation with SSS, but I think the an SSS official would be more kuan mo hatag ani computation kay masayop niya ako inyo kung kasab-an. So that the SSS based on the average daily salary credit and the salary differential to be paid by the employer. So what does it mean? Because I think there's a certain limit bar ang mabayad sa SSS. Now kung imong sweldo is higher than that bar na limit sa SSS, your employer has to give the remaining amount. So mo na siya. So because the law says that you have to be paid in full. Number 3, you're also given an extended additional 30 days leave, but this time without pay na in case of live childbirth. So, technically, you have 105 days paid leave, an additional 15 days for solo parents. You're also given an additional 30 days, but without pay at this time. It's an option for you. Kung ganahan ka na, feeling ni mo na, uy, di pa man gid sakto ang oras akong banding sa akong anak, dungagan pa kanina ko, usa pa ka buwan so that I can, more or less, do with nanakay kanang what do you call this, nanakay proseso, nanakay pamaagi before nimo mabiyaan imong anak. So you can also avail of this. So mo na siya technically the number of days you are allowed. So next question would be, a lot of you would be probably wondering is, how do you avail of the optional extended maternity leave of 30 days? So this is only optional. So not necessarily it's given to you right away. So how do you do this? Kung kintahay makahuna-huna ka na, you want to stay longer. So kung kintahay ang live birth, in case of live childbirth, an additional maternity leave of 30 days without pay, pwede na nimo i-avail provided na nihatag ka og due notice sa imong employer. When is their due notice? So due notice should be in writing and must be given at least 45 days before the end of the female worker's maternity leave. So, kung ikaw ganahan ka mo extend og 30 more days sa imong maternity leave, you have to put it in writing and give notice to your employer at least 45 days before mahuman imong maternity leave. So, kintahay kung nakay 105 days maternity leave, before mahuman ang 105, 45 days before that, you should have given notice to your employer that you are availing of your optional 30-day maternity leave without pay. Okay. So, unsa may mahitabo, unsa effect kung mo-avail ka aning 30 days maternity leave? This should not in any way affect your service. So, without pay, it shall not be considered as a gap in the service. So, considered siya as, it will not affect how long you have been at work. Finally, the question is, can I avail of the maternity leave for my benefits for my 5th child? I think this question is because the old maternity leave, you can only avail of that on the 4th pregnancy. But this new law is very specific that regardless of frequency, pwede ka maka-avail sa imuhang benefits. So, kung ikalima na nimong panganak, pwede gihapon because maternity leave shall be granted to a qualified female worker in every instance of pregnancy. So, bisan pag ikaunom, pwede gihapon. So, that is why what do you call this? It's important that makabalo mo ani na balaod because before inighuman muhunong na ta og avail sa atong benefits on the 4th pregnancy. But at this time, the law is very specific that regardless of pregnancy, there is a grant of maternity leave benefits gihapon. Okay. The next question is, a lot of you are probably wondering kung unsay mahitabo kung naakay if you are a employer in a public sector, if there are any administrative case, pwede pa ta mo avail sa atuang maternity benefits under RA 11210. And the answer to this is yes. You can still have the maternity leave benefits granted under RA 1120 regardless if there is an administrative case pending. Okay. A lot of people are also asking, what if in the CBA, in the collective bargaining agreement, you are already entitled to receive 150 days of maternity leave? However, ang atoang RA 11210 is only giving us 105 maternity leave. So, karon imong employer ningon, oh, nana may balaod, so bahala na ng natay CBA na 150 days or more than, let's say, 120 days. Mubalik na ta sa RA 11210. So, 105 days ra ang imuhang ma-avail na maternity leave. You can insist that, no, your employer cannot do that because of the non-diminution of benefits. So, RA 12210 does not diminish existing maternity benefits which is currently enjoyed, whether or not based on a collective bargaining agreement or present law, if the same are more beneficial to the female worker. So, kung it's either it's in the CBA or murag-mora na practice sa inyong employer na more than benefits ninyo makuha as compared to 105, your employer cannot take back the benefit that was given to you because the law is very specific and it says that there is no diminution of the benefits. Okay. If you are a government employee, how can you avail of the maternity leave benefits under RA 11210? Well, there are things that you have to do para ka maka-avail aning benefits sa RA 11210. First, kinahanglan yung ka mo give og prior notice to the head of the agency of your pregnancy and your availment of the maternity leave at least 30 days in advance. So, dili pud mahimo na di pud ta mo notify sa atoang agency that you are pregnant. Although, yes, you might say na, obvious man, nabuntis ko. So, no need for me to notify. Well, ang gobyerno po nato kay di pud makabaw ganahan ka mo avail sa maternity leave benefit nimo. So yes, you have to give to notify also. And second, you have to use the prescribed civil service form in the filing of your maternity leave application supported by a medical certificate. So there are two requirements if you are a government employee. First, you have to give notice to the agency 30 days prior to availing of the benefits. And second, you have to fill in imong file ka og the civil service form supported by a medical certificate that you are pregnant and that imuhang i-avail ang maternity law benefits under RA 11210. Another question is, if you are a public school teacher, can you avail of the maternity leave benefits even during long vacations? We all know that teachers usually during summer wala na sila kanang gitudluan. So we would think they're summer. Actually, that's not true. Teachers are still working over the summer. I have a lot of kanang teachers na mga friends na even through the summer, they do have a summer break, a certain number of weeks siguro, but over the summer, they are also working because there are a lot of things they do. They have to, ila pa nang himo ng ilahang mga study plan, whatever, unsa pa ng mga teachers. So that is the question. Can teachers avail of it even if during long vacation? And the answer to that is yes. Female teachers may avail of the maternity leave even during long holidays, summer, Christmas break. In this case, both the maternity leave benefits and the proportional vacation pay shall be granted. So now we will discuss about the maternity leave for female workers in the private sector. However, pare-parihara man, no, but just so there are certain requirements that are different, as for example the notification. So that's why ako ang gi-separate ang duha. So now, to qualify, okay, the question would be, for example, you are working for a private company. Kung saan ako pag-avail sa maternity leave benefit under RA 11210. So to qualify for this law, and you are working for a private company, you must meet at least two requirements. First, at least 3 monthly contributions in the 12-month period immediately preceding the semester of childbirth, miscarriage, or emergency termination of the pregnancy. So you must have at least na-contribute man lang pud ka o 3-month contribution in the 12-month period immediately before ka nanganak. Ikaduha is notification was sent to the employer of the pregnancy and the probable date of childbirth, which notice shall be transmitted to the SSS in accordance with its rules and regulations. So, other than you should have paid at least a contribution, you should also notify your employer of the pregnancy and kung kanu sa more or less kamanganak, probable date, and that notice should be transmitted to the SSS. What is the notification process required? So, let's put that into consideration ha. Nakinahanglan ka mag-notify pud sa atuang employer. Okay. There are certain steps on how the employer shall notify the SSS, and I think I will leave that aside because that will be another discussion. What is important is for the employer to do the two following requirements of payment of contribution and notice to the employer. And if you are the employee, also be more kanang pagbantay po na ni-notify po yun ang imong employer to the SSS. So you also have to imo pong ihimo ng imong part to make sure that it was transmitted to the SSS. Okay, the question usually of also mga employees are, how much is the maternity benefit I am entitled to receive? Okay, a female worker in the private sector is entitled to receive her full pay, just like in the female workers in the public sector. Full payment of a maternity leave benefit shall be advanced by the employer within 30 days from the filing of the maternity leave application. So you will file your maternity leave application, and the law is very clear that the employer should advance the benefit. In effect also, basin mo ingon po ng mga employer na, unsa na lang mi mag-advance kada kung alkansi. Well, they will also be reimbursed. That is why they also have to notify SSS so that SSS will also reimburse them for what they have paid to their employee. So, kinsa may mobayad sa difference of between the full salary and the actual cash benefits received from SSS by the employed female worker. Just like the earlier one in the female worker and the public employee, since we are required, they can ask for the full payment. And as I have mentioned earlier, na sometimes namagoy bar ning SSS dili kay dako ang mahatag, and especially if dako kay kag sweldo, nagyapunay bar ang madawat nimo sa SSS. So, since the law says na ikaw who are availing of the maternity leave benefit should get the full pay, who will pay the difference? Kintahay, ang mahatag sa SSS is only 70,000, pero ang imuhag yun dapat dawatunon is 96,000. Kinsa may mo bayad inana? The law says that it is the employers from the private sector who shall pay for the difference. So that means that ang ato ang amo muy mo bayad sa remaining 26,000. 26 ba na wala nahatag sa SSS. Correct. But there are also exemptions. So what are the exemptions to the rule that employers will pay for the difference between the full salary and those that are and the actual cash benefits received from SSS? Actually, daghan siyang exemptions, and for the employers, this is also good because the state is also not insensitive to the plight of the employers also, because we also understand the status of the employers, that sometimes it is quite heavy on the employers. In fact, when this law was enacted, there were a lot of questions regarding that this would actually later on create discrimination on employing female workers because of the benefits granted to them. And so, because the state is also understandable na makasabot sila na nagiubang mga negosyo na dili sad yun sukakod og bayad dayon. So what are these examples? Who are those exempted pertining daghana? So those operating distress establishments, there's actual total loss of 25%, sole proprietor and partnership when the net loss for the last 2 full accounting periods immediately preceding application amounts to 20% or more of total invested capital. So technically katong naglisod, just so we kuan. And who other kinsa pay uban, those retail service establishments and other enterprises employing not more than 10 workers, they're also exempted, because understandable, that means that this establishments is a small time kanang enterprise, and sometimes we know that they're also making ends meet. Who else? Those who are considered as micro-business enterprise and engaged in the production, processing, or manufacturing of products or commodities, including agro-processing, trading, and services, whose total assets are not more than 3 million pesos. Why? Same as I've said, because we understand that this company, if we insist on this, basin ato na niyang igikpatay ang ekonomiya pod. So these are things that has to be balanced in a lot of ways. We can't just always think of the employees. There's also a chance that we have to think of the status of the employers also. Okay, what other questions? Can I also claim my sickness benefits simultaneously with my maternity benefits? Kay usahay masakit man ta, maka-claim man ta sa SSS, di ba? Okay, the answer is no. Ato pong sabton, mapurdoy na po niya ang SSS, nangay pataog sick benefits, mangay pagyutag maternity leave. You're already on leave, so there's no need for your sickness benefits. So the payment of daily SSS maternity benefits shall be a bar to recovery of sickness benefits for at least lang po for the same period na nag-avail ka sa imong maternity leave benefits. Okay. Next, if for example you had 2 consecutive pregnancies and first ended in a miscarriage and nakuhaan ka, ang ikaduha nimong pagpanganak na nakapanganak yun ka, what are the rules in case of overlapping of 2 maternity benefits claim? So, the law says that in case of the overlapping of 2 maternity benefits claim, the female member shall be granted maternity benefits for the 2 contingencies in a consecutive manner. So you can avail of your 2 benefits in a consecutive manner. However, the amount of benefit corresponding to the period where there is an overlap shall be deducted from the current maternity benefit claim. A lot of us also know mga anak og twins na pagay triplets ang pangutana sa daghan unsa man ni, so tulusad ka maternity benefits. So in other words, if you're gonna claim 3 maternity benefits for giving birth to triplets, that means naka-leave na ka og 315 days, 1 whole year na gyud ka nag-leave, di na sad na pwede. The law is very specific that the female shall be paid only 1 maternity benefit regardless of the number of offspring per childbirth delivery. So, kung mga naktag twins, usara pod ka maternity benefit atong makuha. Dili pod mahimong duha. So, imagine no, kung manginsista na duha, pagkadakong purdoy sa SSS, and not only that, for the employer also. Okay. There are instances also that our employers fail to remit their contribution na SSS sa employees. So a lot of us would actually be there are a lot. It's understandable. I've heard a lot in my practice na daghan kay mga employers na magsigig didak sa sweldo, but wala dai pud na remit ang contribution. So what is the liability of the employer to SSS? So in cases like that, the employer shall pay to the SSS damages equivalent to the benefits which said female member would otherwise have been entitled to in any of the following instances. So iyang bayaran ng SSS kung unsa tong damages na na-incur for the employee. Okay, if for example the employer failed to remit to the SSS the required contributions for the female worker, so mobayad siya ana, ikaduha, failure of the employer to transmit to SSS the female worker's notification on the fact of pregnancy. So kung mo fail po ang employer to notify the SSS on the fact of the pregnancy and the probable date of the childbirth, then they will also be held liable. Because remember, one of the requirements for you is that you should notify your employer, and the employer should transmit such notification to SSS on the childbirth and the probable date of childbirth. Okay. Let's move on now to, we don't have time, the maternity leave benefits for women in the informal economy. So more or less the same lang gihapon ni siya. They are provided a katong 105 period, then you have 15 days, and you have a 30 days option to avail. But if you are single, unemployed, but have been voluntarily been a member of the SSS, can we claim maternity leave benefits under RA 11210? Yes, because the law says all married and unmarried women, including female workers in the informal economy, are entitled to maternity leave benefits, provided they have remitted to the SSS at least 3 monthly contributions. Minyo, dili minyo, nagtrabaho or you work in the informal economy, which we have discussed earlier. What is an informal economy? You may avail of it as long as you have paid at least 3 monthly contributions preceding the semester of your childbirth. Okay, here is a very this is a new provision, which was, I don't think this was in the old maternity leave. It's the allocation of maternity leave credits. What is this? Ang kita no, atong bana has a paternity leave and they have 7 days. In this law, it actually allows you to allocate your maternity credit leave to your husband, and not only di lang sa imong bana, pati sa imuhang if you have a caregiver or a relative up to the 4th degree of consanguinity. What does this mean? So, ako maka-allocate kog 7 days of the said benefits to the child's father, whether minyo or dili pagyud, as long as mo na siya ang father. So, on top of the Paternity Leave Act of 1996, I can add more leave for my husband para matabangan ko sa balay of additional 7 days leave. So, isn't that great? I mean, I think that's amazing because, kita mga inahan, gumatog panganak, we're very hormonal, we are tired, hormonal, and we just need sometimes the support from our partners, and this is just great for me. So, can I allocate my maternity leave credits to my partner in case of miscarriage? No, because this is only available when there is a live childbirth. If I exercise na kong option to allocate, how much man of the maternity benefit will I receive from SSS? The SSS mubayad rapod sa imuha corresponding to the period not allocated. So kung 105 days i-decide ka ang 7 days i-allocate nimo sa imong bana, then you will be only able to avail of the 98 days maternity leave. Now, who will pay the 7 days? Will your husband be able to pay? Will your husband be paid? Yes. And then your husband will be granted by his employer also the 7 days allocated paternity leave credit given to him. Isn't this great? Oh, I'm so happy with this. Honestly, I am. So, kinsa may mobayad? Ang employer sa bana, dili na maadto sa imuha. Ngadto na siya mo. Ang employer will also be forced because ningon man ang law. Hey, we are allowing na ang mga bana gidungagan og 7 more days other than the paternity leave. Kanang paternity leave na 7 days, it's great. But, as a mother, a wife, I prefer them to be with me longer. Although, kung ikaw employer, that's too much, ha? Kay Morgan, alkansi na kay employer, ana. In both ways. So, another question. If I am a government employee, how can I allocate maternity leave credits to my husband? So, nato kung ikaw government employee ka. Simple. You just need to notify imong head agency of the application for maternity leave, and then the allocated maternity leave may be enjoyed either in continuous or in an intermittent manner, not later than the period of maternity leave availed of. So, pwede ra gihapon, diba? So, you just have to notify your agency. Whoa. So, in all, that was my sa tibuok law mo niya akong pinakaganahan na part because the state recognizes the fact that mothers in its kuan of total wellness, that mothers kinahanglan sad yun ay tabang ang mga mother. A lot are super moms, but even though we are strong na mothers, we do need help in so many ways. In other words, when you want to avail of it, the most important thing is that you notify the agency where you are working and or to your employer. As far as it goes, mao na siya ang pinaka-important. Okay. As to the computation of the SSS, I have also mentioned that usually I would rather have you can go to any SSS office and ask for the computation. It would be very hard kung ako mo compute and teach you, because with all honesty, I don't know how to compute it. I am just giving you the law, but that you have this benefit that you can avail of. So, as a recap, for normal delivery, you have 105 days, and the same with cesarean delivery. If you have a miscarriage or any termination of the pregnancy, you have 60 days. For solo parents, you can avail of the additional pila na to ka days? 15 days, yes. You can avail of an additional 15 days on top of your 105 paid maternity leave. Then you have also another 30 days option to avail of an extended maternity leave, but this time this is without pay, and this applies to all female workers who are in the public and private sector. There's no discrimination. So technically, if you add up everything, it's quite taas yun ang panahon na pwede ta mo spend time with our newborn children. Now, as to take note on the requirements, notification as on the public sector, usually the notification of the head agency where you belong, or any authorized representatives, and as to a private sector, notice to your employer. But there's a special for the public employees, because you have to a medical certificate and the required civil service forms. So you have to attach your medical certificate of your pregnancy. And as to the private sector, you may notify your employer, and the employer is required to remit the notification to the SSS. And failure of an employer to notify or to pass on the notification of the pregnancy they will also be held liable for the damages as the law states. What else? The security of tenure. The law is very clear that even if taas kayo ang atong maternity leave benefit, you should not be terminated or dismissed for having availed of it. There should be no discrimination of the employment of women because of the very prolonged maternity leave, because the law provides that the women should be given equal treatment as compared to men, even if they have a very long maternity leave benefit. So what else did we talk about? And another, for consecutive pregnancies and multiple childbirth, it's the same thing as I have mentioned. It's the same for the public and the private sectors, and whatever employment you belong to, you are in case of multiple childbirth, the female worker shall be only paid for one maternity benefit. So regardless of triplets or twins, you're only allowed to have that one benefit, because it's, as I've said, we also have to understand the state and the employers. We cannot also abuse what is given to us. We can't abuse it. So that will be all for me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you learned something sa gamay kay na oras. Actually, there's a lot more to discuss about it, but since we are only given one hour, I'd like to thank for your time for listening. And if you have any more questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll try our very best to answer. Og musurado na kita sa atong matag Domingong panag-uban, daghan pa unta kitang dapat nga tukion pa, pero hinaot nga madunggan pa mi ninyo sunod Domingo ang inyong mga kauban og higalang abogado sa IBP Cebu City Chapter. Daghang salamat sa inyong pag-abri og pagpaminaw sa among programang Ikaw Og Ang Balaod. Ako si Attorney Georgia Herrera Clep, ang inyong abogadong higala. Nagsampit kaninyo og maayong hapon.